right. Well, hey, happy to do this finally. I know. I messaged you right before the fall league, and I think I'm like, I said something about, hey, I'm gonna bring some Culvers, and then I don't think you realized that I was from Wisconsin.
I didn't realize it at first because we were sitting there. You answered and said someone covers. I'm like, how's he know someone covers? That's usually like I feel like it's more of a Midwest thing.
Yeah. And then I don't think I ran into you during the fall league, but then I was messaging you afterwards, and I'm like, all right, well, glad we can connect. Before we talk about everything now, like, how was the off season?
It was good. I kind of was just chilling at home because I got back from the fall league around right before Thanksgiving.
Can you put this just a little bit? Yeah. Yeah, it's fine there.
So I was like, I got back from the fall league around, say, 4 or 5 days before Thanksgiving. So I was kind of just chilling. I kind of told my agent like I was going to go down to Texas and go train there for about, give or take, like 2 weeks because I was going to go there right before Christmas. But then I'm kind of just.
Where do you train at in Texas?
APEC.
Okay.
It's in like Fort Worth.
Okay.
We go train there, and then there's another place in Fort Worth called the Lab we've been working out at. Me and a couple other players in our agency, we can usually go there.
Okay.
So I usually did that. I was training at home. Otherwise, there's a place called Velocity Training.
Yeah.
It's in Bayport, actually, like Bayport, Swamco area. If you know where that is.
Not familiar, but
it's all right.
All right.
We're in the southern part of Wisconsin, so I don't blame you.
But, you're in Wisconsin. I thought you were talking about
that.
No,
in Wisconsin.
Okay. What city?
Swamco or Howard area.
Dude, I'm straight up. Okay, I was in the Brewers locker room. They have the flag with all the cities.
All the cities.
And like some of the media guys are quizzing me.
Yeah,
like,
quizzing how to say them. Yeah, like what about Sheboygan?
Yeah.
Oconomowoc. Yeah. What's the other one? Wasaki.
They didn't have all the cities on there, but it had most of the major cities and most of the bigger small towns. But yeah, so I mean, I know where that's at anyway. But
but yeah, I was up in I always travel like there's like 25 minutes I travel every day, and then I go left to my high school. It's just more convenient. So go see other people that I see in the past or just went to school with. So
cool, that's awesome. So fall league, obviously great experience. I was there for a couple of days. The vibes were great because it's more relaxed, but everyone's and you're almost like travel ball because you're with a bunch of guys that you haven't played with before. You're competing. How was like your whole experience there?
It was really cool. I kind of feel like I got to meet a few new guys in the org, or other orgs.
Yeah.
Kind of cool just talking to them and see what they do differently compared to what we do with the Padres and whatnot. So I kind of thought it was a cool experience to just go play against different level guys. I feel like there's guys like in the high, AA, AAA, all sorts of different levels that are going on. So you kind of get pick other people's brains and what they're doing. So it's kind of cool.
Was there anyone like specific or like anything specific you were able to talk about or pick someone's brain?
Just mainly talking with the pitching coach, kind of like seeing what the Guardians do, kind of like different data they go over. I think that's kind of the main thing. I kind of like that was a little different for us. It was just different metrics and what they read and how they described it, which is a little different compared to what we have.
Yeah, are the Brewers are the Padres a really like analytical team or no?
I'd say, like for me, I never was like a big analytical guy. Like at least when I was in New Orleans or like when I went to JUCO at Lakewood in Illinois, like we never really had any of that technology, or it wasn't like that big yet.
Yeah.
So I think coming to the Padres, being able to just learn the TrackMan data, because I never knew what any of that meant before. So that was all new to me. Yeah. So I
Did you have that in JUCO?
No, we had a Rapsodo. That was about it.
Yeah.
Even in New Orleans, we had the same thing, but just kind of never used it or just had the. I wouldn't say just never really wanted to use it, I guess. So it was just kind of something new. I never really got to experience, but awesome. I like it. Using it's kind of. I think for the org, they continue to use it. Like we don't rely on it, I would say. But I think just having it there as a resource was a big thing for us.
Personally, are you like an analytical? You said it before you never seen it, but like
I would say now I am. I like looking at it because like just kind of see how my pitches move and how they play against certain.
What's the biggest like thing you look at, like the stat wise or like?
I'd say just movement wise and like where say how much vert or horizontal we're getting on the pitch. Okay. Kind of just based off that. I think that's kind of what I look at. Just I only throw like a fastball and slider and a two seam. So yeah. I just kind of look at the plot of pitches and I see if it's a big plot or if it's scattered or whatnot. Then I got to work on finger pressure and just where I'm throwing and how I'm throwing it. So. Yeah,
awesome. All right, so let's talk about your background. You grew up in Wisconsin. I feel like there's not a ton of Wisconsin is like a baseball state. You know, I mean, like the Texas, the Floridas.
Yeah,
I mean, there is some talent there, but I mean, like when you compare it to like others, like how was that growing up for you and When did you realize like baseball might be a thing?
I want to say around 8th grade. I decided I wanted to keep playing baseball because I'm gonna be honest, it's 6th, 7th grade. I was so young, obviously.
Yeah.
I want to be a big football star, big
Oh,
football
yeah.
quarterback. I love playing football at the time,
Did
but
you play football and baseball?
funny part is I didn't play in high school.
Okay.
I kind of just got off it. I didn't want to. I was like a little skinnier, scrawnier guy in high school, so
Yeah.
I was sitting there. I'm like, I don't know if I want to get lit. If I get lit up once I get hurt, I mean
Just
that could
get
be
crushed.
could be a career changing
Yeah.
thing. So I'm like, I'm not gonna risk that. So I played basketball for 2 years, my freshman and sophomore year, and then after that I ended up just playing baseball my junior and senior year. Then,
How good was your high school?
when I was there, we went to regionals and sectionals, but that was about it. But like the last 3 years, like previous 3 years, they won state the last 3 years. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, they're on a roll right now. They're gonna see if they can
Okay.
go for 4 years this year, I guess.
Dude, that's sick. Like, how was the talent then? Like, I mean, was there anybody you played with in high school or against, like in travel also, who maybe you're in the pro or big leagues now, or not big leagues, but pro ball?
College ball.
Yeah.
I never got to see anyone in high school from my area. I was like the only one in my high school for quite a few years that got to go play college ball, and then ended up playing pro ball. So I kind of thought that was pretty cool, and I thought it was kind of an honor just to kind of represent my hometown too, which is pretty cool at the same time. But
Does everybody knows who you are?
I wouldn't say that, but like they know of me.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like over the past couple of years, my name's kind of gotten out there a little more.
Yeah.
Just kind of people getting to know me a little more, which is kind of cool. I kind of find that's awesome. Just people are just listening and just looking at how I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm keeping up with you. I'm like, I didn't even really think about that.
Yeah.
Like, people I never haven't like really talked to out of high school, and I see them at somewhere in the hometown, like say like Subway or something like that. They'll sit there and have a conversation. We're at the high school if I'm lifting and whatnot, so it's kind of just cool to catch up with people back then, ask how things going. Like, oh yeah, I'm keeping up. I'm like, that's cool. Never really thought that.
Dude, that's awesome. So how was like the recruiting process? You go JUCO. Were there other schools you were interested in? And like why the JUCO route?
Honestly, I didn't really have a whole lot of like interest from like I wanted to go play Division 1. That was the main goal for me. But at the same time, I was 150 pounds coming out of high school. And I played travel ball, and like all schools are telling me like Division 1 schools and whatnot, and Division 2s where they say, hey, you got to go play junior college ball. Like go like put weight on, and then we'll come back to you and talk to you later on. And that some of those schools did that. Some schools didn't. Obviously, I think interest kind of faded away just over time, and they found new players and whatnot. But that was probably the turning point for me. I want to say COVID was. Like, that was kind of a blessing for me. I didn't really think about it. And kind of just looking back on it now, too, I think that's when I started taking things more serious. Because, like, honestly, I put in, like, 10 pounds my freshman year. It wasn't anything, monumental at all. But, like, it's just the point, like, I realized, like, if I want to play Division 1 ball, I got to, like, step this up and, like, start taking this to a whole new level. And then, like, a whole new level of motivation kicked in. And I'm like, I want to go play pro ball.
Yeah.
Like, that was my goal. Like, obviously, the first goal was going to play Division 1. And then, obviously, once I got to Division 1, it was going to be pro ball.
Yeah.
But I think just throughout JUCO, I also got hurt my third year. I had a UCL strain, so I didn't play at all my third year except in the fall. I was getting some looks then, but like it wasn't anything like huge or anything serious. It was just their teams were talking and just getting notes of me. But I think that was the main thing. It was just the motivation was starting to get there and realize this was real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's a real possibility at that point.
Now you're top 30 prospects. That good, huh?
I'd say that's pretty good, I guess.
Some say it's good. I would agree.
No, 100%.
So how was your JUCO experience? Because like I was talking to someone just yesterday actually about JUCO, and like I think Midwest JUCOs are just like the grind is like insane.
I'd agree with you on that. I'd say there's some Southern JUCOs that get after too. Like I feel like just going to if you go to JUCO, you're making a commitment.
Yeah.
At that point, like you're saying you're gonna do whatever it takes. At that point, I went there for 3 years. It was a little more of a grind for me, but I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
I thought that was all part of the experience. I tell people back home too, like they're asking for advice from me. I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, like. I think you should go JUCO. Like, obviously, it's not the most ideal thing. I didn't think it was the most ideal thing. It was before I went there. And I realized, like, just developing just develop yourself, actually. Just getting to know yourself more and who you are, the understanding of that, I think that's big. and just knowing it's when you actually kind of figure out what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want to play baseball,
Yeah.
and move on to the next level.
So what's your like best JUCO grind story? Like whether coach had you like running up mountains or like waking up at 3 a.m, or maybe do like when like the first 2 weeks you have like that like SEAL training almost.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's kind of a mistake on my part. It's kind of like a punishment, I'd say.
Yeah. JUCO punishments
yes.
are the worst.
Yeah. No, trust me. Just wait. So it was the fall, and we had 6 a.m. workouts. It's 6 and 7 a.m.
Yeah.
There's 2 groups, and I remember specifically. I always had PTSD from this now too. Just it still happens to me now. Like I'll wake up. Do I have to go somewhere?
Yeah.
But like I was sitting there. I woke up I had 6 a.m. that day. Of course, I was in the early group, but it worked out anyways. But still, 7 a.m. It's like 6:45 comes around. I'm like, I wake up randomly. I'm like, oh, my alarm didn't go off. So I was sitting there tweaking. I'm like, oh no, this is not good. I'm like, maybe I just go in there, blend in. I'll get away with it, and I'll start warming up and stretching, and then go lift. And then all I hear is, Pap, Spada, come here. And there's one other guy in there missing a lift with me too. We sat out there and ran for 6.5 miles then that morning. We ran for an hour and a half. It's like, from that point on, I became a track star.
Yeah. Like I'm leaving baseball, I'm gonna start running.
But at that point, like that's when I realized too, like the responsibility part was starting kicking. So you guys, we're still young adults at the time. We're still somewhat irresponsible. I would say like everyone's not mature to 100% still, but like I feel like that was another turning point for me. Just kind of being on time for everything was a big thing for me then. So I really just was focused on that, just trying to be on time, and like even going to the field, and, like getting activated, stretching, rolling out. I'd be there 30 to 45 minutes before, just doing stuff. If it's drill work, getting ready to go throw and whatnot. So
I think with JUCO, it's like you get what you put out or put in. You know, like if you
100%.
if you have that attitude, like this is, these, I'm not gonna run 6 miles, I'm yada yada, then you're not gonna make it. But if you grind and you do what you got to do, like I mean, obviously there's guys who get drafted out of JUCO, Bryce Harper, but and then there's
no
people,
biggie, no biggie.
Yeah. The pitching version of Bryce Harper here, no big deal. But yeah, so I mean that's pretty cool. You said he did 3 years. Was it just because of injuries?
Yeah, because so my second year was COVID. So I got that year back, and then year 3 I ended up going. I pitched in the fall, and at the end of the fall I didn't have a UCL strain. Okay. So I was out for a little bit of time, and then I ended up trying to come back a little early. I tried to push the injury a little too soon, and I ended up rushing and just hurt it again. So I ended up rehabbing it the whole summer then. Wow. Before I went to New Orleans.
Yeah. And like we were talking before we recorded, like Antoine Kelly, and you played against his team,
Wabash.
Like your JUCO wasn't that good, I'm assuming, like record-wise?
It was like we were like still on the come up. Like I wouldn't say we were like bad, but we had solid players around with us. We had guys move on, but I think just their level they were at, they were a whole different level. I remember playing against them. They're just really good.
Like the gold standard. They're always at like one of the best ranked.
Oh yeah, they're always in the JUCO World Series every year. Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, so, them. Central Arizona. I think they won like 3 or 4.
Yeah, I know a guy who went there too. It was like 3 years ago, I think. 4 years ago.
Yeah, there's a guy in the Brewers org. He went there 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah, he's a 4-year JUCO guy.
How's that work? COVID and then injury.
And then injury, and they won. I think he was in the World Series 3 straight years and won 2. Or like they're just crazy good.
That's Arizona Central.
Central Arizona. Yeah, or Arizona
Central.
Arizona, whatever it is. But it's one of the But yeah, so
That's crazy.
He was telling me after every win, there's this one guy who always wanted to get tased in the butt. Like after they won, like he's like, just tase me, and then they would tase him. And then I know another guy who went there. He's with the Twins, and after every win, he's with the Giants. After every win, they would have like a wrestling match in like their little modular like.
What?
Dude, like
it's like a ritual.
Yeah, like some weird like ritual that they did at their JUCO. I was gonna say, did you guys have any like not like punishments, but just like funny like this wouldn't fly in a D1 school, or just you wouldn't think about it in a D1 school?
No, I wouldn't say it. I didn't really like. I was kind of just open to any opportunity at that point.
That makes sense.
Obviously, I think I wanted to go play Division 1. That was obviously a standard. Like I still talk to every other school, like Division 2s. I was open to a lot of. I was open to everything at that point. Yeah. Like I even told my brother, like he's kind of the same similar boat where I'm at, where I was then, because he's in his 3rd year right now.
He's JUCO.
Yep. Okay. He was at my college.
Okay.
And then he ended up going to College Lake County in Chicago.
Yeah.
So he's still there right now. He's having a pretty good season right now.
Pitcher or hitter?
Pitcher.
Okay.
He's a right-hander.
Nice.
So he's trying to follow my footsteps right now.
Yeah, there
so
you go. Have teams like shown interest, you think?
I think there's been a couple teams. There's been a couple teams that have. He's still trying to figure out where he's going for school yet, but I tell him, like, I will help you, but I will just be a guidance. I'm not going to tell you where to go. You got to make all these decisions by yourself, because I don't want to be the main influence of where you're going.
Yeah.
I said I want this to be your experience.
100%. So after JUCO for 3 years, where'd you go next?
Oh, I went to New Orleans for 1 year then.
Is that D1?
Yep.
Okay. How was that?
In the Southland Conference. It was good. Kind of a little switch up in the weather, obviously. I remember the first day I went down there, I literally got down there with my dad. He flew out the next day. He flew the next day. I literally had to go throw. I went to the field. I swear it was like 120 with humidity. And literally 10 minutes later, just started pouring on us.
That's insane.
I'm like, what is going on? The first day I'm down here, this is what I get?
Yeah.
So that was a weird experience too. I didn't realize the weather there was that bipolar.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool. At the same time, I'm like, never really experienced this before. Yeah. I mean, Wisconsin's bipolar itself, but I wouldn't say
it's been bipolar here. Like,
I know
like
it's been
rainy,
weird here.
sunny, raining. It's been a mess.
But yeah, I'd say I had a good time there. Like, I only threw 9.2 innings there, so I feel like I didn't really have much to show when I came into the draft. So I got a free agent sign at that point. I kind of just had to prove myself at that point. I feel like the last year is a good representation of what I could do. So
and that was 2021 or
23 or like 22 when I went to New Orleans, and 23 was my first.
Were you drafted last year?
22.
Okay, yeah.
22 was when I drafted, and then 23 was my first regular season.
Yeah. And you went undrafted, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So when the draft's over, at that point, what was going on through your mind? Because obviously everyone wants to get drafted.
Yeah.
Like, how was that? Like, mentally, how'd you kind of handle that?
I still remember I was sitting in my basement with my brother and my cousin. So I shot in my head, this probably be the day I'd be getting picked up. I mean, it's every guy's dream. Just kind of see your name on the TV.
Little tracker, yeah.
Yeah, and I was kind of just sitting there round after round. I'm like, my agent was telling me, like, it's probably going to be day 3. I'm like, all right, sounds good. I was sitting there on the couch. I'm like, saw name after name after name. I still recognize some names that the Padres picked. So I was sitting there. I'm like, because it was after the fact. I realized it, but I'm like, I seen some of these names go by. I'm like, I just didn't know who these guys are. I'm like, dude, what's going on here? Like, I understand. I went through like 10 innings, but I thought I struggled a little bit in the draft league when I went there, but I'm like, I thought I had a pretty good year. I went to draft workouts. Everything was really good. And then after the draft happened, I was like, well, I don't know what's going to go on here. Like, I might have to go play indie ball or something like that. But my agent said, hold on, there's free agent signings going to be going out here soon. So I was just sitting there, and I'm like, well, I'm just going to wait a little bit and just go from here. And then I'm like, I'm just going to wait. And my agent ended up calling me. Like, I was like 30 minutes later after the draft happened.
Oh, pretty soon then.
Yeah, it was pretty soon. I didn't realize this at the time because I told my brother, hey, let's just go to Chipotle quick. Like, I drove like 15 minutes to go to Chipotle because I was like, I wasn't saying my feels, but I was just like, obviously, a little mad about what's going on.
Oh, yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah.
So I was just sitting there. I'm like, well, I'm going to just get some Chipotle. And I swear, as soon as I stepped into Chipotle, I had a phone call from my agent. I'm like, I mean, what's going on here? And then he called me. He's like, hey, well, we have an offer from the Padres, and they end up offering me from that point on. They sent me an offer. The area scout called me and said, let's make it work. And then he sent me all the info, and I remember sitting in the middle of my order in Chipotle, getting a call from my agent that I was signed with Padres. So it was really, really cool experience. My brother was there, my cousin.
Wow, that's good.
And there was just a lot of rejoice going on there, so it was kind of cool from them to experience that too.
Yeah. I don't know if maybe you're just not aware, but were there other teams that were interested in you?
I know I talked to quite a few teams, like on the phone, like at area scouts, and just I went to a couple of draft workouts, and I talked to some of the higher ups there too, because they're all sitting there watching. So I had a couple conversations. It was with the Mets, Dodgers, what was it? Houston, and Padres. It was going to be the Cardinals always, and Padres was the first workout I went to. Otherwise, but I think that was one of the best. One of the better ones I've had was with Padres. I mean, I felt like I threw pretty well with most of them.
How hard do you throw?
I've been up to 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been up to 100.
How was that first when you see triple digits? Like, what was that like?
I didn't. I had like. It's crazy I even say this, but like I had a feeling like this might actually be 100 here.
Yeah.
I threw it. I checked afterwards. I'm like, yeah, you hit 100. I'm like, of course. I knew exactly what pitch it was on too.
Where was this at?
Was
it high school or JUCO?
No, this is. I didn't throw that hard in JUCO.
Okay.
I was only up to like my last year JUCO was up 95. Like my first year in JUCO, my freshman year, I was only up to 91.
Okay. Wow.
So I progressively kind of just ramped
yeah.
up. 'Cause I think after the COVID year, my velo kind of increased it from there on. But I want to say somewhere in New Orleans. I think it was at Southern Miss in New Orleans. We played at Southern Miss that game, or it was my opening day. But I remember going out there and just I didn't realize how hard I was even throwing at the time. I was just kind of in the moment, kind of blacked out. It's my first D1 outing.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of just all stoked about the experience. So I didn't really realize, but I had a feeling what certain pitches I did, and it happened to be those pitches too. So it was cool.
That's awesome. That's cool. And like, so you went from like 91 to like 100. That's a pretty significant like.
Yeah.
What do you like recommend or suggest that people? Because everybody wants to throw.
Yeah,
hard.
no,
That's
everyone.
the thing
Trust me,
nowadays.
I got people coming up to me like back home, saying, "What do you do? What do you do?"
So
like,
you're throwing 95 in Wisconsin. You're drafted out of high school. I feel like.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I feel like you're throwing 93 as a high schooler. There's probably some teams willing to take a chance on you, and projectability's there.
Yep.
That's another thing teams always look at. And then people kind of saw me as just being projectable, tall, lanky guy. Like I was mid 80s at the time, and like I was up to 87 and out of high school.
Okay.
So it was a for sure experience. I just always told myself like I want to like my mentality when I was younger and playing like in like college teams, like I want to be like the hardest thrower on the team. I want to throw as hard as I can and just go from there. And I ended up having that mentality all through not high school. I mean high school too, but like
college,
college pretty much. So I kind of had the mentality just being that guy and trying to be a backhand guy. That wasn't my intentions at first. Was to be a backhand guy.
Be closer?
I wanted to be a starter.
Okay.
Originally,
I mean, everybody wants that's.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like velo started increasing. I'm like, why don't you just close? I'm like, sure, why not? I mean, why not? You get the adrenaline at the end of the game.
Yep.
The nervous little excitement of a rush.
Yeah.
I always get that. I still do. I mean, just shows that you still care about the game or not. I feel like it's always a big thing, but I think I love doing it now. Like I had come in towards the end of the game almost every time last year, and that's just it's a great feeling.
Were you the closer for Lake Elsinore?
Oh yeah, I'd say I was mainly the closer for Lake Elsinore. I was a little stint I got hurt for about 3 weeks, so like a month I was out for, but after that I was back, and I ended up going right back in that closing role. It took me a little bit to kind of get like back into it, but I was back into it till like August.
Yeah.
And I went up to Fort Wayne, and I ended up doing the same thing, closing up there for majority of the games. Then I think maybe one game I won there like the 8th.
Yeah. Did you close in Double A at all or no?
No, I only had one outing up there.
Oh, okay.
I went up there like in the 6th or 7th inning.
Yeah.
And that was about it then. And then I pretty much sat there in case they need me for playoffs then.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Just get the experience. Was cool.
Yeah. So you said people like will message you and ask you like how to throw harder. Like what's normally your advice for them?
It's usually like I wouldn't say message me. It's like people back home, and like sometimes like they'll say, "Hey, what do you see in this video? Like, what do you see that's what's wrong?" And they'll send me like I'll try to analyze, but I'm like I'll try my best. I'm like I'm not gonna say it's gonna work, but I'll give you my opinion.
Yeah.
But I usually tell them some drills and whatnot to work on, and I said the main thing is just getting in the weight room and just understanding, like being able to lift heavyweight. You gotta lift heavyweight. I think that's a big thing, and I think being in the weight room is one of the biggest things to my success at least.
Yeah, so talking about like closing and being like a high leverage kind of guy and that adrenaline, like how do you get yourself like amped up to pitch or ready to go?
So if I'm pitching towards the end of the game, I usually got pre-workout down in the pen.
Dry scoop? Dry scoop it? Yeah.
That's usually the best way to do it for me. At least I like doing it. I'll mix it up sometimes, but if I'm feeling nutty, I'll sit there and just down it and just go in.
You ever try smelling salts or no?
I tried it before, yeah. I've done that before. I'd say I've kind of faded away a little more from the smelling salts, but I'll sit there and do pre-workout every day. And then people are always like, don't you go to bed like at 1 a.m.? I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's not like we got to be there at 8 a.m. the next day. We got time, but I usually try to go to bed at like 1 o'clock after that because like it's kind of hard to go to sleep after you're just on a...
You're hyped up.
Yeah, you're hyped up on like a little high. So that's kind of cool. I like doing it, but I still mean, I kind of fade away to it.
Yeah.
From the off season, kind of make my way back into it. Let's go back in the season.
Yeah.
But honestly, like sometimes I wouldn't even need it because I'd be sitting there. Oh, this is you're just in the moment.
Yeah.
The blood's flowing.
Yep.
And I feel like at that point you don't need much, and just let the adrenaline take over at that point.
What's like the vibes? Obviously, of dugout or bullpen's a fun experience. Like, but lots of times, I mean, at least like for I know the high A team in Wisconsin, like they'll have like there's like a walkway over like right behind the bullpen. So there's always people looking in, talking, and screaming, ball, whatever it is. Like, what do you do to keep yourself like busy during like in the bullpen, or do you guys have any fun things you guys do?
We usually just chat and play some like games and all of that. Otherwise, but like it's not too much. There's usually a bunch of kids always asking for balls. They go, "Can I have a ball? Can I have a ball? Ball." I'm like, maybe if you ask politely, they'll give you one.
Yeah. Do you ever get the rock paper scissors for?
You have no idea how many times
I just heard that today. Someone's yelling to
rock paper scissors for a ball.
I think they were yelling to Yelich, and I mean I'm like, Yelich is not gonna give you rock paper scissors.
Head down, kept going forward.
I don't know how these guys do it, man. Like
I give in. Like the people are like sitting there autographed, and they said they'll say some stuff to you. I'm like, all right, fine, I'll come sign real quick. Like I try to do as much as I can, but like say you're after your 20th sign, 25th sign, like there's like 30 more people in the line. I'm like, all right, I signed like 30. I feel like at the same time you feel bad you can't go sign the ball because those kids are there for you at the same time. So
you gotta try to balance you can't be there forever.
Yeah, I try to sit there and sign a certain amount of balls or just papers or whatever it is.
How many autographs do you think you signed this past day during the spring break?
I signed quite a bit. I'd say over.
Did you guys have two tables?
No, we were right on the line.
Okay.
Like on the right field line.
Okay.
They had like a whole like flow of traffic going through, and then had a whole line, and we were sitting there right alongside the left field foul line. We were sitting right there and going up to the wall, and we just signed balls and papers for him. So that was kind of a cool experience, though.
It was. I saw what the Reds they did too. They had the Rangers on one side, the Reds on the other side, and then you just walk right through. You pick which side you want to go through, and like there was probably like hundreds of people. They're like rope. They had it was like well done. It was just took a long. I think Antoine said. I think they said they were signing for over an hour.
we were signing for maybe. I want to say like 25 minutes.
Oh no, they're there for
we kind of got lucky with it.
Over an hour. They were just everyone stopped at every single person. It was just nonstop.
At the start, they had Sal was up there, the 17-year-old. He was sitting up there.
I bet his hand fell off for how much he had to sign.
I was sitting right next to him. They got down to his ball, walked past the next big guy.
Yeah.
Dylan Head was next to me. They go to him, just go to the next big guy. I'm like, all right, all right, I see how it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, then I think Sal was just sitting there for about maybe 5 minutes. He signed maybe 25 balls already, or 10, 20 balls, 10, 20.
Oh, he 15. Did that early?
Yeah, he was signing. Then our farm director comes over and just pulls him on, saves him, and puts him over. And then everyone's asking, "Where's Sal's? Where's Sal's?" I'm like, guys, he signed like 20 balls like in the last 5-10 minutes already. Like, and he's just been getting bombarded. I'm like,
did he need like an escort, like police,
like
during like in the minor league games, just like?
I mean, it's in the same way in minor league, but like I know when he first got he'd go up through the back because there'd be like a bunch of guys right at the gate, and he had to like go in a tinted truck.
Jeez.
Like one of our guys had a tinted truck, so he'd go in there and just kind of lay low, and he'd somehow get out of there every time, like unnoticed.
That's crazy.
It was funny. I walk out and they're like, "Who are you?" I'm like, I say my name. And they're like, "Oh, never mind, you're good." I'm like,
all right, let them know you're top 30.
they don't even know that. They don't even know that. They can figure out for themselves.
What's the most random thing is autographed?
I think someone's back. I think. Back. Yeah.
Like shirt on or shirt off?
Off.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like
unique.
I was like, "Can you sign my back?" I'm like, "Sure."
Who's gonna see it? I mean, maybe I don't know. I don't want to know.
He was roaming around with the shirt off the whole day. Cause I ended up looking around the stadium. Like later on, he's sitting there around with the shirt off. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think it was like a little 10-year-old, but it was cool. It was cool.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like an older guy.
Okay, it was like a young 10-year-old.
Yeah, you're a bigger man than I am. I would have been like, nah, dude. Yeah. No. So like I can mention top 30. What do you know? How did you find that out? Like, was it your parents who called you? Be like, yo, we used to see the top 30 just dropped, and you're up there.
No, I was sitting in the car on the way to the complex, and my buddy Braden, that I room with him, and his agent texted him, was like, "Hey, I was telling him that he made the top list. He was like one above me.
Okay.
He was scrolling down. I'm like, oh, hey, let me see the list real quick. So I didn't know what came out. I was sitting there. I'm like, dude, I'm right below you. Let's go. So that was kind of cool to see my name up on there. But that was pretty much the way I found out. Was literally from his agent, sending him a screen record video, seeing that. So.
Do you feel like there's any added pressure with that, or no? You just like doing the same thing?
Just doing the same thing. I feel like it's kind of like a reward in my opinion.
Sure.
Just kind of they notice what you did, and I feel like they're taking everything. And
well, I mean, you went from undrafted to like what number are you?
I don't know exactly.
Top 30.
What
was it? Number 1. No, just top 30 though.
I ain't Salas.
Exactly. But I mean, top 30 from undrafted. That's. I mean, a lot of undrafted guys, a lot of them don't make their debut, but like to be top 30, like it shows like where you're.
Sure, how far we came over the last year or two.
Yeah, have you ever like just took a moment to like stop and think?
Oh yeah, trust me. My parents always talk to me about it. They're like, you ever sit there and just be grateful for the moment? Like, trust me, I sit there all the time, just kind of realize where I'm at in life. Like, sometimes I take some parts like I take for granted sometimes, but like I sit there and like and realize where I'm at with everything. Like this is what I've been wanting to do my whole life.
Yeah.
And kind of just getting to this point, it's kind of been so surreal.
Yeah.
So and my brother, he's like a big supporter now too. My middle one who's in college, he supports everything I do. My little brother supports everything I do. My whole family is really supportive. Yeah. So it's kind of cool that they're letting me be able to follow my dreams, and they allowed that. So they did a lot of sacrifices for me. Even travel ball, like we went down all over the U.S., like Kansas City, Florida. I went to Ohio, Indiana. I mean, we went all over the place. There was a lot of traveling. I even send texts out to him, like, randomly sometimes, like, just saying thank you for everything you guys do.
That's awesome.
Because I feel like I'm really close to my family. I try to be, like, obviously it's kind of hard now. Yeah. But I try going on phone calls with them every week, talk to him a couple times. I talk to my brother every day. Yeah. So I always get his opinion, what's going on. He always asks what's going on. So, but yeah.
That's awesome. Let's end on this. When you're two things. When you're at a gas station, what's like your go-to essentials?
All right. This has been my essentials right now. So the last couple times I went, I usually go get a Pedialyte. Okay. And a Core Power. And a Metrics bar. This is like the cookie dough one. Yeah. That's usually the three things I get.
Very cool.
Just something light, to hydrate a little bit. Some free protein and protein carbs. Yeah. Get all the fats, and carbs, proteins, get everything.
If you had to do karaoke and like Life on the Line, you got to pick one song you're gonna nail it. What song are you choosing?
I'm gonna say "Down Under" by Men at Work. Okay. I don't know why. My brother and me, I've been on a big '80s grind lately. Yeah. I mean, I could probably sing that whole song. If I got to go in a bar and my life's on the line, I'm nailing that song. Yeah. There's no doubt in my mind.
That's awesome. What about like your walkout song? Like if you can have one artist write your walkout song, like who would it be?
For the rap, I'm gonna do two categories because I like the '80s and I like the rap. I'd say Lil Baby. Okay. For rap, and I feel like Def Leppard would be a pretty good second option for the '80s classics rock. Yeah. And like you talk about closing. Like, yeah, you gotta be exhilarating.
You gotta have something like. Like you think of like the Mets with
Edwin Diaz.
Edwin Diaz and it's like the trumpet, whatever. Yep. When they had the guy
Timmy trumpet. Yeah, he came out and started. That was electric. Yeah, I remember still seeing that. I'm like, what? There's no way this guy's at the game performing right now.
Dude, that's so dope. All right, well, hey, what are 3 things you're grateful for?
I'm gonna say God. Yeah. My family and friends. That's what I was to say.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for taking your time.
Yeah, of course.
Long time
Appreciate
coming.
You having me on.